Hey everybody, welcome to That's Debatable Daily, the show where we have a wonderful question and we debate it. My name's Leavezo, and this is Landon Newton, one of my oldest and greatest friends. Today we're talking about mind power trade-offs. You ready for this one?
You hit me.
You got to decide. It's about mind reading. So would you rather be able to read your partner's mind anytime or read everybody else's mind except for your partner's?
I assume we're talking romantic partner.
Sure.
Right.
Partner could be interpreted, however, I think significant person
Maybe
to you.
let's
most
let's
significant
start with,
other.
let's
right?
start with that kind of like a,
Sure, whoever that is to you, that
Um,
most significant person to you.
So
you can read their mind anytime.
my initial thought, my very first thought was like my wife and I are just pretty
Basically, read each other's minds anyway.
we communicate pretty openly. Like I don't really have to guess. Like I know this is not always the case for a lot of people, but
Yeah.
at least between the two of us, we don't really have to like guess what the other person's thinking. But this would also mean telepathic communication.
Yes.
If I knew,
Right.
like
if she wanted to
if
tell
my
you
wife
something,
and I
that's a
knew,
good point.
she could just tell me stuff telepathically, and we could do all kinds of just
Yeah.
crazy
No secrets.
stuff.
No secrets from her to you, or whoever this person is to you, and
Right.
you could potentially have secrets with them, which is
Yeah.
kind of concerning, which is why I also like that you can read your partner's mind. It doesn't mean you always
Yes,
are
you
reading
don't-
their mind.
you don't
can
hear
decide to.
everything. Right.
And so I think that what's cool is both are framed that way. So you get to do, you can be ethical
Yeah,
through this,
yeah.
and it can be consensual that you're reading her mind. But if you're reading everybody else's mind, that's kind of a different thing. It's kind of superpower, but it feels a little more respectful to your partner, privacy-wise, to me.
Yeah.
And-
you know what's interesting
Yeah.
is if you can read everybody else's mind, you also like if I'm like, oh, I can't read my wife's mind, but I know, like I could trust you to tell you,
Yes.
hey, I can read your mind.
Yes.
I could do that same like superpower thing with 20 different sorry, I hit my mic. With like 20 different people.
What am I thinking about?
All I hear is a banshee scream.
Nah, man, it was a whale, but that was close.
Both
that was from
our
last
references. Yeah,
episode.
both our
Go
references.
check out our last
If you
episode
wanna
for
know
those
what-
references. That will make sense.
If you want to
Okay.
know what a whale and a banshee scream have in common,
They're both in
Watch the last
yesterday's episode. Here's the deal about privacy is I'd like to be able to have a partner where I'm just like, hey, listen, I can read everybody's mind on the planet but yours.
yeah, that's cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I trust you that much.
Yeah.
But the implications of the telepathic communication is kind of cool. But this allows you to have telepathic communication with every single individual on the planet besides your partner.
Yeah.
And could you not read your own mind in times of confusion? Are you not
except your partner?
someone who isn't your partner? So couldn't you technically be like,
Interesting.
I don't know what I'm thinking, I don't know how I feel about this,
Yeah,
and then
if
just
you
read
feel
your own mind? You're like,
conflicted.
oh, clarity. I know exactly how I
Wow.
feel about it.
That's like superpower all on its own.
Yeah, introspection,
Don't you
meditation, that
think?
sort of stuff.
That feels like a superpower.
That feels like a superpower, yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. Especially knowing that this is, generally speaking, would be one thing. In my specific circumstances, I know who that partner would be.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So
Right.
knowing that, I feel
You're
like
applying it to your situation.
yes.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me personally, I wouldn't have that much benefit from reading her mind.
Sure.
So, but that I could read everybody because it's not even saying
Besides the telepathic communication thing, that
Right.
is a huge benefit,
Right.
sure. But
the fact that like it's not even saying you have to be near this person. Like I could just pick like, like what is Dick Van Dyke doing right now?
also, what are all the world leaders thinking right now?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, what? Like
could
you could
just
become the
know
most important person on the planet that
all
could
the
save
stuff.
lives.
Basically,
Yeah, it's everybody else's.
it's got to be. It's
Like
gotta be.
there's a second where I was like, ooh, like the safety aspect of the telepathic communication, but I think that the power imbalance would just upset me too much that I could, if we could read each other's minds, that's cool. But if
Right.
it's just one or the other, I don't love that.
Yeah, that's
like if I can read my partners, but they can't read mine, I don't love that.
Yeah.
But everybody else's mind, President of the
Yeah.
United States, freaking, you better think about some good stuff because I'm going to be reading those
Yeah.
minds
Yeah.
and finding out all the secrets. Anything anybody knows, you would know. Any secret that anybody's keeping that's like an artifact or
That's true.
aliens
That's
or
true.
any of these things.
Where's the Ark of the Covenant?
It's done. I'm choosing that one.
Here's the deal.
It's over.
Here's the deal. Is it worth any consideration to think about the fact of how absolutely insane and utterly overwhelming that could be?
Yes, because you can, but you don't have to.
Right.
So it's an interesting thing.
And you would
because
have to be
will-
choosing-
You will always be tempted to do so. It will have to be yourself controlled and not do it if you're not going to do it. That's
Right.
the only way. And
And I
that's
feel
tough. That's a tough place to be in.
Yeah.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Also, you know what's a weird thing is like, let's say there's a world leader. You think about what they're doing, like, or you find out, like, you listen to their brain about what they're thinking.
Yeah.
And you find out there's some crazy thing,
Right. What do you do about it?
and then you can't do anything about it. Like,
Yeah.
if you're just, I'm just an average
That's a good
Joe,
point. Yeah.
and I know this thing is happening, and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would still rather know on the, like, in case there's something I
Right.
can do. But
I mean, I like info. I like information.
Yeah,
If you got some
totally,
information,
totally. And I don't think it would change my mind.
give it to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it would change
But
my answer.
again, like if
but
it's
I
not
think
actionable, it's just going to stress you out.
right. I don't think it would change my answer, but I think it's worth consideration to really understand the emotional weight that would put
Of
on
course.
you.
You're devoting your
I
life
know.
to service of your fellow man, essentially. For the
Yeah.
rest of your life, like
Has to
your
be.
existence is going to be, I'm going to use this power to help other people as much as I can.
Yeah,
Yeah, which
Yeah.
most superpowers are like that, I think.
yeah, yeah. So
It's the great power with, great power, great responsibility.
Yeah,
It's a trade-off.
totally.
And it's a cool trade-off because everybody wants power, but nobody wants responsibility. And if people would just realize that the more stuff they take responsibility for, the more power they get, the world would
Interesting.
change.
interesting.
I've seen it happen.
Yep.
Like the hyper accountable people that I've met are also
Yeah.
the most powerful human beings I've ever encountered in my life.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
love that.
So tell us what you guys think. At home, if you have a clear choice in this one or implications that we didn't visit,
Yeah.
we want to hear about.
That's the. I feel like this could go on for so long. I
Yeah.
would love to hear because
So
that one
many
was just
implications.
right at the very end, like the
Yeah.
emotional weight. I'd love to hear any other.
Also,
thoughts people
you
have about
would be
this.
the person who maintains instantaneous communication with all astronauts always forever.
That's true.
Because if you can read people's minds and it doesn't
Yeah.
matter where they are,
NASA
they could be
just
light years
hire
away.
you, or a lot of
Yeah.
lot of people would want to hire you
Communications.
to be like you are instantaneous and reliable
Zero
communication,
lag.
no lag, no whatever.
As soon as somebody thinks about it, you know.
Yeah.
We don't know as soon as the nuke is launched. We can know as soon as that person who is going to launch the nuke thinks about
thinking about launching the nuke.
it. Yeah, that's seconds matter in situations like that when it comes to the world. So,
But then would the
Good point.
government figure that out about you and just be like,
I'm worried that like if I look into the brain of a world leader, they'll look back and be like, ha, 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 ha,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
I know this stuff too.
Yeah.
Because they also have whatever curse gave me this power. You know what I mean?
I feel like the government experiment thing with superpowers is not as big a deal as like people think.
no.
sometimes.
They're
Like,
not going
oh,
to come abduct you and.
But with this, I think they.
But maybe
might.
they would. Yeah.
I think this is one that maybe they would.
And it's anything,
information is too powerful.
Anything that would make them more powerful or their positioning. Like if
Yeah.
you could just float an inch off the ground, they'd be like, well, that's peculiar. Let's study it.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
But if you can appear anywhere on Earth, they're like, this is more important than
Yeah.
nuclear fusion.
Yep,
You know what I
yep,
mean?
yep.
Yeah, I agree. So let's hear what you guys have to say. And I think I'm sticking with everybody else's mind besides my partner.
Yep.
Tomorrow we have an underwater dilemma that you guys are definitely going to want to tune into. It is either you can breathe underwater, but you have a pounding headache the entire time, or you can breathe underwater, but you can't swim. We'll see you guys next time.